Hey Taurus, welcome to your April 2020 reading. It's Aries season. Okay, Taurus, let's go ahead and get into these cards. All right, so the very first card that comes out for you, Taurus, your energy is the Knight of Wands. So Knight of Wands energy is really light, it's really fun, it's buoyant, it's passionate, it's curious, and it has a magnetism to it. A lot of people are very drawn to Knight of Wands individuals, which tells me that as much as you want to be in your zone, I think you are really pulling people in, and people are curious about what you're doing. They're curious about what you're learning and how you're progressing in your life and your spirituality, and that there is a lot for you to really share. But the important thing is that you keep your head down and continue to do the amazing work that really began last month with the reading, like the gold mine, right? Is what we called it, because there was so much flow coming from you, and I think it's continuing, and it's going to be a slow go, but it's going to be like a compound interest kind of deal where whatever effort you put into things now is going to get bigger and bigger a lot faster than you can possibly imagine. So your focus is very important, even though there might be a tendency to like relax a little bit. The environment is coming out as the Emperor. Okay, now the Emperor could be another person. It is a card of Aries, so we do have that Aryan kind of thing going on. It doesn't have to be a person, though. Sometimes the environment really wants us to succeed, right? Because it sees where you're at. It sees how in the flow or in the vortex that you really are, and it wants to keep pushing you forward. It wants you to keep going and making more money and meeting new people and, going and falling in love. And it really wants those things for you because those things feel really good. But there can be a heavy-handedness, like if you're dealing with a Taurus who is being very stubborn and who is really, just a little pessimistic about what they're capable of, the Emperor is probably going to come back and validate their negativity, and that can be really harsh. See, that the Emperor is just going to reflect exactly what you've got going on inside. So if you're in a negative place, there's going to be something negative that might happen. If you're in a positive place, there's going to be some really amazing positive things that happen. You have to pay attention to your energy. You have to be responsible and accountable for the energy that you bring into a room, okay? Because the Knight of Wands, what this tells me is that Taurus is in a place to feel like they're on fire and to feel like they are soaring above the mountaintops and feeling so good and so weightless. But not every Taurus is really going to tap into that. That's the unfortunate part. But the Emperor is going to really show them what they're really doing. The thing that's cool, okay, actually, before we get into the cards, I had a lot of people comment the past several months about how they wanted to see the cards. So instead of putting the camera down now, I'm just going to put a little picture of the cards so you can see, how everything is aligned and situated so it doesn't get confusing. Very first card that comes out is the Six of Swords. Now, Taurus, it's really important that you acknowledge that where you're at is perfect. Okay, you are perfectly at the right place, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. And honestly, there is nothing that you need right now. Okay, remember last month, you are the gold mine. The gold mine is here. The gold mine is here. This is where the treasure lies. You don't need anything out there. You don't need to be in a specific place. You don't need to have a specific tool. You don't need to have certain people in your life. All of that stuff, if a Taurus taps into that, then they're just making excuses for things, and they're not progressing, and they're wasting too much time thinking about things rather than actually just doing the work. I don't know that any movement or any change or deviance from where you're at needs to happen. The only thing that needs to happen is the flow. Now, a lot of people look at the Eight of Coins and they say it's very much about work, which it is, but this is work that you're really good at. Now, this is a continuation from last month because back in Pisces season readings, the gold mine Taurus, the Eight of Coins came out in almost every single reading that we did for all the signs last month. And that was because that was kind of the saving grace. When we're in Pisces season, we have all these things that need to happen. We need to be able to stay grounded. Well, because you're a naturally grounded person or someone that has grounded energy built in and wired into them, this comes easy. So you have to capitalize on the things that come easily to you, the things that are just your natural affinities, your natural talents. This is where you're at. This is the energy of someone who somehow works really easy for a short period of time and they accomplish so much stuff. And that's the level of productivity that I hope you can carry over as Mars makes his way into your 10th house and, is in the 10th house for the next 2 months. You're going to have that action-oriented Mars planet in the house of your career and achievement for 2 months. So it's really important that you capitalize on it because this 8 of coins is going to open up some really cool doors. I mean, honestly, it really is. When you are in this flow state, as we see with the 8 of coins, all things are possible. And I think you're going to start seeing your dreams become more and more realized. And you're going to be like, wow, I didn't really know that I had so much control here. And I don't think you do. But your energy is really controlling the show right now. So the direction of your energy is going to be really important. The Ace of Wands might need to be something that you embark upon solo, okay, whether you're in a relationship or not. I feel that this is something that is just for you. And that you can ultimately share it later on with your children and your loved ones and your companies and your employees and all that. But, right now it's just for you. And I think there's a solo journey over the next couple of months where you have to really put yourself first. If you're dealing with a Taurus and they seem to be really detached, first of all, that's Saturn and Mars and Aquarius. It's a very detached house or a very detached archetype. And emotionally and things, it can be very evasive. So if your Taurus is not really super there or super present, it's probably because they're really focusing on their goals and what they're wanting out of life. So there's nothing to blame them for. It just is what it is. And I do sense that there is someone with this King of Swords that comes out that might have a hard time with it and who might detach a little bit on their own as well. You may be finding that people are kind of going in their own corners, going in their own holes a little bit, just, doing their thing as a reaction to their response to what you've got going on. Remember, there's a lot of reflection happening. I think that's what the Emperor is coming out reminding you of. There's reflection going on. And the reflection, if someone's kind of being cold for you, you might want to say, well, how am I being cold toward them? Now, this is probably not going to apply for people who are dealing with, situationships or lovers that have ghosted them, or, it's really not for that. These are probably people that are really close to you that you see on a daily basis, and the relationship's not complicated, okay? If you are in a situationship or you have complications in your romantic life right now, it's probably better not to really focus on it, if I'm being totally honest with you. The sun coming through the 12th house can be a really interesting time. It can illuminate a lot of things. It can bring out some weird things. So if things occur within your relationship, that's fine. But ultimately, just let things play out. Don't try to control it, because when you try to control something, which the Saturn and Mars in the 10th might try to be very controlling, but the sun in the 12th is going to counteract that and say, you don't have control here. So it's better to just say, okay, I'm just going to, keep my head down in my 8 of coins, focus on my 8 of wands, and we'll, figure it out when the time comes. The King of Swords ultimately probably will be pretty supportive, but I think they also have their own things going on, which you'll see when we get to the Moon card in the bottom row there. Okay, now I talked about the solo journey of the Ace of Wands, and I think that is, matches perfectly with the 3 of Wands. This is your own process. You're standing alone here, Taurus. This is you by yourself, standing and looking out over the ocean and watching your ships come in. I mean, your work, your effort, your energy, your attention pays you back so that you can then open it up and share it with other people. But it always comes back to you. So you have to be open to receive. And I think your focus is just so sharp. And maybe this is a relief for Taurus. Maybe you're feeling like, oh, it feels so good to finally have this ambition, to finally have this focus, and to finally want to really be achieving. For whatever reason, the energy around achievement has been really stifled the past couple of years. And it's like the more people tried, the harder or more evasive those achievements became. And while there was still progress, it was still like this invisible, like it's not here. I achieved, I got to the top of the mountain, but there's nothing here kind of thing. But I think that environment is really changing, where when you do get the achievement, there is something there. There is an actual, very real and fulfilling and satisfying reward. Okay, so the tide is very much turning, and I think you can feel it. I do. I think you can feel it, you can sense it, because if you didn't, you wouldn't get the 10 of coins right here. Like the gold mine, right? Gold mine part 2 is probably what this video is going to be called, because that's really what it is. You have fortunes coming, and fortunes can be defined in a myriad of ways. It doesn't have to be money. It could just be a peaceful life. It could just be a life where you feel truly happy every single day. It could be a life where you have children, or a life where, you expand your family in some way, shape, or form, But ultimately there is a fortune waiting, and it's because you are working so hard to call it into your life. Well, I say working hard. You guys know I don't mean actual work though, right? It's just the flow. You're keeping your energy consistent. And I think the physical nature of what's going on, the physical work that you're doing, is matching the energy just perfectly. I don't know what's going on with you guys. It's just like, it's really cool. And there is reward here, If you don't know what you want, that's okay too. You don't always have to want things. Sometimes this is also the freedom of not wanting things. Sometimes we can be a slave of what we want. And instead of achieving something what we want, what we do is just get rid of the things we want. And by doing that, we find our life getting more and more simple, more and more calm, more and more relaxed. And with that, we find happiness and joy. It just depends. Everyone's wired differently. Some people want material things. That's fine. Some people want relationships. Other people don't. It's totally fine. But see, the 10 of coins is really where you open it up and share. When you pull it in for yourself, you can share. That's the beauty of what's happening here. It comes into you, and then it gets dispersed to the people that you care about. Everybody benefits here. When Taurus wins, everybody wins. And see, the thing with the King of Swords is that I think he knows that, he or she, this person knows that. This person knows that if they can just step back a little bit and let Taurus do their thing, if they can handle it emotionally, that they will ultimately be included in the big picture. And sometimes that's hard for people, but I think you're dealing with someone who's, they definitely have a thick skin. They are independent on their own. And I think they are just very sensitive to your energy, Taurus. And so they are, they're feeling it out, and they're just responding accordingly. So please don't get worked up about this, any detachment or any feelings of someone kind of going cold on you, because what it is, it's the universe giving you space to bring this in. Okay? So it's all perfect. It's all very perfect. The universe is reflecting things perfectly back to you. It's good. It's great. There is an element of achievement in this Emperor energy as well. So the energy wants you to succeed. Now, directly under the King of Swords is an interesting card. We get the Moon. The Moon is very unstable. And I'm wondering if this person isn't going through their own kind of thing. I feel that this Moon energy is more tied to the King of Swords than it is to you, Taurus, although it could be a little bit of both. So if it resonates, then it's for you. The Moon is an interesting kind of secretive place, and it's perfect for 12th house sun activity, because that's really, that's what the sun does. He kind of goes away and goes into the depths of our subconscious when he's going through the 12th house. So the Moon is the illumination of things that have probably been blocking us, or keeping us back. It could be illuminating the real reason behind certain issues we're having in certain relationships. It's not just about all the surface level kinds of stuff. This is about the real meat of the issue. And whenever we have 12th house stuff, we can't escape it. Everyone goes through it at least once a year. You have to go through that cleansing or that purge in order to heal. The moon is ultimately a magnificent healer in the tarot as well. It's the lunar energy, the mother energy. It's kind and nurturing and giving, but it can be a little bit scary for some people as well because it can be unknown terrain. I think this King of Swords is going through something pretty deep, and they might be, keeping their mouths closed and not really talking about it until they figure it out. We'll get more information about this when we pull up the clarifiers for the comprehensive reading, but it just is what it is, and I know you're going through it too. So when you have two people going through this illumination of subconscious stuff, it makes sense that two people are kind of pulling away. And it will be temporary. It will not be a permanent thing. And we know that the Mercury retrograde is over, but this particular moon energy seems to be causing a little bit of a breakdown in collaboration and communication. So it's solo time for you, Taurus, and we know your whole archetype is all about self-reliance and being able to take care of yourself. So when you ever feel like you're a little bit too dependent on someone, you can so easily, pull it back and say, okay, I need to still do me. I need to still do me. And some people can confuse that as, well, this person doesn't need me. It's like, yeah, no, they actually really don't. They might want you in your life, but they don't need you. And some people might have a hard time. But ultimately, if you just tell people what's going on, hey, I'm in the zone right now. I'm working really hard. I'm really focused. I feel like things are about to break through. I feel like, things are going to start building, and I'm going to start seeing the positive effects of all of this effort soon. And I need to keep this momentum going. I think people will understand. But it's not your job to coddle people. I do think that if you're dealing with a Taurus, you're going to need to be tough. You're going to need to be independent. You're going to need to be strong, because if you're not, the way that they're behaving and the way their energy is really going, it's not like going to try to keep you safe. The Taurus energy, it's not going to try to keep you safe for the next probably couple of months. You'll come out of it. It's important for this time. And you may feel like you want more traditional things during this time, Taurus, but in order to get those more traditional things like the marriage and the 401k and the nice car, the nice house, all the typical things that most people kind of want, in order to achieve that, you have to go into like beast mode, So some people might not care about what you care about right now. And that's just going to be the way it is. It's like an agree to disagree kind of deal. If communication drops off, if communication fails, if there's a breakdown, Mercury in Pisces still, it's not retrograde anymore, but it's still in Pisces, which can cause some weird things. Plus, it's also 11th house, which can be a very detached place as well. The ghosting energy might be a thing for some of you, whether you're ghosting someone or someone is ghosting you. It will all even out. It's nothing to get worked up about. The main focus really needs to be that 8 of coins, Ace of wands, 3 of wands, 10 of coins, because that's going to be the payout. 7 of coins, last card. I just don't think you're at a place of wanting to be dissatisfied. So you're doing what you can to get out of a state of dissatisfaction. If you're feeling unfulfilled in some manner, you're doing what it takes to get out of it. You're not just sitting there wallowing in how sorry you feel for yourself. And if you know a Taurus who's doing that, it's probably extra irritating because you're like, dude, like if anyone's capable, you are. And if you want the things, you gotta aim for it. If you want the things, you gotta have the energy dedicated to it. The thing that's so cool with it, though, is that it's not hard work. It's really putting your natural talents to work, which is usually a lot easier than normal. Do you know what I mean? Because when you do the things you're just naturally good at, then you're good at them and you succeed at them, and it doesn't require a lot. It's not like you're trying to, go against the grain here. Like, let's catch the wave. Why are we trying to swim against the current? No Taurus is trying to swim against the current right now. That's not even a thing. So Taurus is out there trying to catch the wave. Let's look at the oracles. I pulled them out ahead of time just because. So we have this angel of strength, which is a card of strength, right? Card of courage, a card of fearlessness. Sometimes you have to be fearless when you think about your life. Sometimes you have to be courageous when you talk to people. You have to be courageous when you get feedback from the universe too, right? Because sometimes the feedback is not that great. And people who are weak-spirited or weak-willed, they get negative feedback. And instead of saying, okay, well, here's something to work with and how can I change my methodology and make something better, they do the fetal position and they operate in fear, and then nothing happens. Nothing at all. So I think her courage is an important thing to keep in mind. You got to stand up for the things. You got to go out there. You got to put yourself out there, and you have to not care what people think, especially this King of Swords person right now. Even if that's a significant other, I really just think you got to do what you got to do. You know, you can tell them what's going on. It's not like you're abandoning, but the thing with the King of Swords is I don't think they're going to disagree with you. They're just not going to really be able to help or really be there. So the astrology card we got was the Virgo card, which is I analyze, which is interesting because it's a fellow earth sign. And Virgo is all about the work. This is a card of Virgo. Actually, both of these are. Numbers 8, 9, and 10 are all associated with the mutable sign of their element. So mutable earth, which is the Virgo element or the Virgo sign. So, you know, a lot of the Virgo energy coming out and saying, let's put our head down. It's humble. It's humble, it's service-oriented, it's there to really perfect itself. It's there to figure things out. It's there to tackle problems, you know, to analyze. See, whatever the feedback is, I think you have that ability to really analyze it. That's the whole thing. It's not anything scary. It's just like, it's fact. You take feedback from the external world and you say, okay, let's think about it. Let's do the numbers. Let's figure it out. What are the reactions? You take the data points and you make something of it. Okay, so it's a really wonderful place that you're at, guys. I swear. Next month might be a very similar message for you, right? We've got Mars in Aquarius for the next 2 months, really. So it's kind of cool. All right, guys, let's go ahead and put the camera down. I'll show you the cards for the comprehensive reading. See you in a sec. Okay, Taurus. So I'm going to do something just a little different than what I normally do. I'm going to use the same deck to clarify each of these, and then we'll use another Rider-Waite to clarify these. So these are going to be the cards that we talk about in the comprehensive. The link will be down below. We usually talk for another 20 to 25 minutes approximately about these cards. So if you want an extended reading, you're welcome to join. Okay, Knight of Wands. I feel like both of those. Two of Cups, the Eight of Wands. Yeah, you guys are just on fire here. Like, really, truly, it's so cool to see this kind of energy. I just really hope you're tapping into it. I hope you're allowing yourself to feel it and allowing yourself to experience the growth that the universe is hoping for you. Okay, Six of Swords, beautiful. Seven of Cups and the Ace of Swords. Yeah, see, there's definitely going to be some pretty major information, some illuminating clarity that will really be helpful for you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start clarifying these, starting with the Six of Swords reversed. Got the Six of Swords twice, Two of Cups twice. Eight of Coins reversed, Eight of Cups, Five of Coins. Interesting, okay. See, the thing that I'm worried is that you guys don't perceive the movement. It can be very discouraging when you don't see the results. You know, it's like a marketing initiative that does not get traction, and you're spending money and it's like not working, not coming through no matter what you try. You have to keep going. This is like the test of focus, the test of belief, the test of faith, because there's that Wheel of Fortune, okay? Queen of Wands. You guys have been coming out as the Queen of Wands a lot recently for some reason. I'm wondering, I always call it my bulldog energy. It's just so like, sink your teeth into it, go for it, grab it, just merciless with your goals here. Six of Wands, card of victory. Another Ace of Swords coming out. We like the Ace of Swords because there's just simply no questions about stuff. You know, it's not like foggy or hazy or anything like that. Okay, now let's really focus on the King of Swords. Beautiful. We love an Ace of Cups. Four. Knight of Swords and the Seven of Wands. Three of Wands. Take a look. Knight of Wands reversed. So we're getting a double Knight of Wands. Hierophant reversed. There's going to be doubt. That's your greatest enemy right now, is doubt. Wow, Two of Cups came out 3 times, 1, 2, and 3. So Two of Cups right now, the most prominent message for you. Beautiful. We like the Tower. And we like strength. Angel of Strength, strength. Page of Swords and King of Wands. Five of Swords, Hermit. Fool. Lovers. Seven of Cups came out twice. And the High Priestess. So, okay, this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive if you want to join. Again, that link will be down below in the description box. Thank you all so much for everything. I'm so grateful. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you have an amazing Aries season, and I'll see you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.